Hello, students, and a very good morning to you. Students, today we are going to start chapter 6 of class 8 science, that is conservation of biodiversity. Now, let's have a look what we are going to study in this chapter. In this chapter, first of all, we will study about biodiversity and causes of loss of biodiversity. After that, we will study about causes and consequences of deforestation, steps to reduce deforestation, flora and fauna, endemic, extinct, and endangered species, red data book, and at last we will study about protected areas, in which we will study about national park, wildlife sanctuaries, and biosphere reserves. So this chapter is divided in two parts. This is the first part of this chapter where we will study about biodiversity, deforestation, and how to reduce it. The next topics, starting from flora and fauna, we will discuss in next part. Now, first of all, this chapter we will start with the topic natural resources. Now, students, you all have studied about natural resources. Then what is natural resource? All these substances which are found in nature or which are found on earth, and they can be used by human beings. All these substances are termed as, they are called as natural resources. Means everything which are present on this planet earth which can be used by human beings, they are called as natural resources. Now we know that a large variety of plants, animals, and microorganisms are present on this planet Earth, and so many other things are also there as air, water, land, soil, sunlight. So they are also natural resources. So in this way, we can divide the natural resource in two parts: living natural resources and non-living natural resources. So all these living organisms like plants, animals, microorganisms, etc., they are present on the planet Earth, and they can be used by human beings as well. So they are called as living natural resources. On the other side, the air, water, land, or sun's energy, soil, they are also present on this planet Earth. They are non-living, and they are also used by human beings. So they are called as non-living natural resources. Means these constitute the non-living natural resources. Now all living things, they depend on non-living natural resources, and there needs to be a balance between these two. Means there should be a balance between the living and non-living natural resources. Now we know, students, that day by day human population is increasing. So because of the increase in human population, the demand for natural resources also has increased a lot. So there is a need to conserve the natural resources. Now what is conservation? You all know what is conservation. The wise and judicious use of natural resources is called conservation. Means not allowing anything to be wasted, damaged, or destroyed. If we use the natural resources like this, means when we use them wisely, then it is called as conservation. So conservation means overuse or wastage of natural resources must be avoided. And why this conservation is very important? It is very important to preserve the quality of our environment. Okay, means suppose we are using any natural resource, so we should keep one thing in our mind, that we should not pollute our environment. So this is very important to maintain the quality of our environment. And yes, if we are using the natural resources, then one more thing we should keep in our mind, that these things should be available for our future generations also. So conservation is important to ensure the continuous availability of useful plants, animals, microorganisms, and other materials for future generation, and we have to maintain the quality of our environment. Now we will study about biodiversity. Now, what is biodiversity? This word biodiversity is made up of two words, bio and diversity. Bio means living organisms and diversity means variety. So, biodiversity refers to the variety of living organisms present on the earth. And we know that all life forms means there are three life forms: plants, animals, and microorganisms. So these plants, animals, and microorganisms, they form biodiversity. Means biodiversity includes all forms of life, that is plants, animals, and microorganisms. Now, next and very important thing is that biodiversity is not distributed uniformly across the earth. Means some part, some region, or some area on the earth, they have greater biodiversity than the others. As forest are the regions they have more biodiversity than other regions. So the region means this is a biogeographical region which has a significant reservoir of biodiversity, means where there is very great biodiversity is present, and equally it is threatened with destruction also. Obviously, if any area is rich in biodiversity, then it will be threatened with destruction also. So such type of region, such type of area is called biodiversity hotspot. Now, in India, there are four major biodiversity hotspots. First one is the Himalayas, then Indo-Burma region, the Western Ghat, and the Sundaland. These are the four major hotspots in India. Now, conservation of biodiversity. Why biodiversity should be conserved? So, we know, students, that plants and animals, they are very important for each other. In your previous class, you have studied their interdependence also, how plants are dependent on animals and how animals are dependent on plants. So they are very important for each other. Equally, they are important for human beings as well as to the environment also. We know that plants, they provide a number of products as food. In food, we know different type of foods we get from plant as cereals, vegetables, pulses, fruits, nuts, oil, tea, coffee, like beverages, and spices, etc. Then medicines, fodder, fiber, timber, fertilizers, rubber, all these things we get from plants. Now, animals give us meat, fish, eggs, milk, honey as a food item, and we get ivory and silk, such type of very expensive items also. Now, other uses of or other applications of biodiversity, as biodiversity helps to regulate climate, rainfall and wind. You all know how biodiversity affects the rainfall. Then it purifies air and water. You all know that plants, they release oxygen gas. Then it helps in cycling of nutrients. It helps to preserve soil fertility. As you know that microorganisms are present in soil and microorganisms are present in air also, and how they decompose the dead decaying material and they convert them in the humus, which increases the soil fertility. Then it forms food chain and food web. You all know biodiversity means plants, animals and microorganisms. So these three are the integral parts, means they make the food chain and food web, and they ensures the availability of food in all life form. For all life forms, they get food from because of plants, animals and microorganisms also. So that is why conservation of biodiversity is very, very important. Now, causes of loss of biodiversity means what are the causes of loss of biodiversity? So some of the causes that threaten the existence of plants and animals, they are as follows. As first of all, increase in human population. This is the biggest reason of loss of biodiversity. As we know that human population is increasing day by day, so their need is also increasing. Their need is also increasing. Their need for field, their need for everything is increasing day by day. So just because of this increase in human population, forests are being cut, means deforestation is there. Because of increasing human population, it is leading to large scale cutting of trees, that is deforestation. And this is one of the very great reason of loss of biodiversity. Then industrialization and urbanization, this is obviously, it is also because of human and increasing human population. As we know, the land is cleared by deforestation and it is used for industries, homes, roads and other buildings to fulfill the need of increasing population. So this is also because of increasing human population, and this is also a very big reason of loss of biodiversity. Then overgrazing. Overgrazing, by increasing population of animals, also it leads to loss of biodiversity, and this is also because of increasing human population. As the need of the increasing population will increase, then people have to keep cattle with them, and they will do overgrazing. So this is also because of increasing human population. Then the next one is pollution of air, water and soil. Any type of excessive discharge of solid, liquid and gaseous wastes from means as domestic waste, or in the field, agricultural field, or the waste that come out from industries and factories, they caused pollution. And pollution of all type means soil, water and air. And it also led to the loss of biodiversity, because in soil, so many organisms they live. Then in water, many aquatic animals live. And air, when air will be polluted, then all living organisms, they have to take that polluted air, means polluted air where oxygen is present, they have to take. And it is also a very big reason, big cause of loss of biodiversity. Then habitat destruction. Habitat, you all know, habitat is the place where organism lives. So because of deforestation, industrialization, construction of dams and some natural disasters also, as earthquakes, drought, cyclone, etc., a very large number of habitats of living organisms, they are destroyed, and this also resulted into loss of biodiversity. Then hunting and killing. Hunting and killing means, this is illegal form of hunting and killing. So that illegal hunting of animals is called poaching. And this is also very important reason, because you know that animals, they are killed for their meat, for skin and for other useful body parts, which are very expensive also. So these things lead to the reduction in their number, and this is also a very big reason, very big cause of the loss of biodiversity. Then causes of deforestation. So in previous class also you have studied about what are the causes of deforestation, because we know that forest is very important natural resource. We get a lot of products from forest, means it is because just because of these reasons forests are being cleared. And you know that many tribal people also, they used to live in the forest, and they earn money from the forest products also. So because of the human activity, the deforestation takes place. And now some of the causes we will see. First of all, construction of houses and industries. So this is just because of the increasing human population. Again, the human population is increasing, their demand, their needs are increasing. That is why forests are being cut, cleared, and for the construction of houses, industries, for the buildings, for roads, for hospitals, for schools. That is why these constructions also, they are the reason, they are the cause of deforestation. Then clearing land for agriculture purposes. Obviously, when population is increasing, human population is increasing, so they have to clear the land to make it agricultural field for growing crops. So this is also a cause of deforestation. Then using woods as fuels. Woods which are used as fuels, they are cut from forest. So because of this also the forest is cleared. Now using wood to make paper, furniture and other things. Then some natural calamities also because of earthquakes, droughts, floods and forest fire also. So these are the reasons of deforestation. Now, consequences of deforestation. So, first and important consequence of deforestation is loss of biodiversity. We know that forest is home for great number of biodiversity, means a very large variety of plants as well as animals, they are found in forest. So when deforestation occur, then it is the very big reason of loss of biodiversity, because animals and plants, they have to lose their home. Then the next consequence is global warming. We know that trees, plants, they are very good carbon dioxide absorber. As human beings, because of their activities, they are increasing carbon dioxide in atmosphere. Because of industries and because of so many other activities, the level of carbon dioxide is increasing day by day in atmosphere. And what happened when no plants are there, so no one is there to absorb carbon dioxide, because you know that plants, they absorb carbon dioxide for photosynthesis. So reduced number of trees, they require lesser carbon dioxide. So again the level of carbon dioxide increases in the atmosphere. It has gone up in the atmosphere and it leads to the global warming. Now, next consequence is flood. So, because the reason of floods is global warming also, because you know that when global warming occurs, then it increases the global temperature, and because of this, the glaciers, they are melting and they are increasing the water level at the coastal areas, and it leads to the flood. One more reason is there, because of deforestation, groundwater level also gets lowered, and the capacity of the soil to hold water is also reduced. So the movement of water from the soil surface into the ground, it slows down, and in the absence of trees and their roots, water is not able to seep down into the soil, water is not able to infiltrate into the soil, and because of this, in the rainy season, water flows over the soil and it brings about the floods. So next consequence is drought. How drought takes place because of deforestation? Because deforestation leads to increase in temperature and pollution level on the earth, and it disturbs the water cycle, and obviously it reduces the rainfall also, which leads to the drought. Now soil erosion. All of you know how soil erosion takes place because of deforestation, because you know the roots of the trees, they are very good soil binder. They bind the soil very firmly, and they remain there at their places. But in the absence of trees, in the absence of the roots of trees, soil erosion takes place, means the upper layer of the soil, it moves, it carried away by the strong wind or water current, and the top layer it removes, and this is called as soil erosion. Desertification also takes place because of this reason, because you know the top fertile layer, that is the a horizon of soil, is very important because it is rich in humus, it is rich in other organic materials, it is rich in nutrients and minerals. So when soil erosion takes place, then the top layer of the, means that fertile layer of the soil, it is carried away, and the next layers of the soil, they are not so fertile. It means the fertile soil, it is converting in the infertile soil in the desert region. So this process of conversion of fertile land into a desert land, it is called desertification. So all these are the consequences of. Now, next topic is steps to reduce deforestation. So first of all, to stop deforestation, what we have to do, we have to recycle the paper. Recycling of paper is very important because you know that paper is made from pulp of trees. You can think, student, that lakhs and lakhs of trees are being cut every year to make paper that is used by us in so many activities, sometimes in useless activities also. So paper should be recycled. When paper is recycled, then it saves energy, it saves water to make the paper, and as well as it also saves the chemicals, means the use of harmful chemicals in making paper is also reduced. And one more thing, paper can be recycled 5 to 7 times for use. And recycling of paper you have studied in class 6th also. And what we can do for saving paper, we can write on both sides of the paper, we can avoid the wastage of paper. So these are the things that we can do for saving paper, means for saving trees. Then reforestation should be promoted. Reforestation, you know, planting of new trees where forests have been destroyed, that is called reforestation. So if the destroyed forest area is left undisturbed, then natural reforestation takes place. And otherwise, human beings also, they can plant trees in that area. Okay, now for conserving forest, our government has introduced two acts. First one is Forest Conservation Act 1980 and Wildlife Protection Act 1972, and they should be strictly followed. Now, Van Mahotsav. Van Mahotsav is a program of planting trees, planting saplings of different species of trees. Lakhs and lakhs of saplings are planted with the involvement of forest department throughout the country, and this Van Mahotsav is celebrated in the first week of July every year. So this Van Mahotsav program should be celebrated at very great level with energy and enthusiasm. Now, your first part of this chapter is completed. Now we will see other topics in next part. Thank you, students.